the traditional letter of greetings had started millions of men on their way to fighting for democracy in World War II.
A lot of people don't talk about Emmett's father. His father was a soldier overseas in the war.
The policy of the War Department was to segregate very, very deeply the armed services.
The military, can you imagine? A Negro goes over into foreign soil and thinks he's free. You're not in Mississippi anymore. You're not in Chicago anymore. You're in Italy, right? You're in Germany. You're in foreign theaters of war. Don't you ever forget who you are.
Mrs. Till, Mamie, received a telegram, and the letter was a lie. It left out the truth of what had happened to her husband. It said, soldier died outside of combat by his own fault. On a June evening in Civitavecchia, Italy, there were American forces occupying that part of Italy. The only light was because of a false alarm of an air raid on the American base nearby. There was the shooting of an Italian woman, murder of an Italian woman. And there was an alleged rape of 2 other women. Well, Till and his friends had a night off. They were drinking, they sat around, they drank half the night, and so they became the #1 suspects, and they became convicted. They were convicted.
When it went to trial, the woman who was making the accusation was asked, is the person who raped you in this room? And Emmett's father, Louis Till, was sitting right there, and she said no.
No eyewitnesses. No one ever identified Till or his friends in the courtroom when the victims were sitting there. No, never any identifications, all kind of circumstantial evidence.
So he was executed just because. She did not say that he raped her, but they still killed him.
And this was not unusual. It was like a lynching or an execution.
Emmett was nearly 4 when I got the telegram, much too young to absorb any of it. For him, all that was left of his father's life was the ring that had been returned to me by the Army, the one with the initials LT.
What I remember personally is that nobody ever talked about Emmett Till Sr. Nobody talked about it. That was the weird part about that whole scenario back in those days. Nobody knew him, nobody asked about him, it just wasn't spoken of. Bobo was 4 years my senior.
Although he was our great protector, he could do whatever, tease, but nobody else had better do it because he was very protective of us.
We live next door to each other. We right there from day one, we right there next to each other. This picture was taken about 1950, and I was about 11, 12 years old. Emmett was about 9 or 10. As long as I can remember, he stuttered real bad all the time. Some of the things, he just couldn't get words out, you know.
He had polio as a child, as a baby, and that left him with that speech impediment. He spent his money mostly on us, on myself and my 4 siblings. He just had a kind heart that way. He just wanted people to be happy. He was a happy child, and he wanted people around him to be happy. The last Christmas, we had a beautiful Christmas, 1954, I believe it was.
It wasn't like Mississippi when I was a little girl. Everything you had was in a shoebox.
We had the pictures taken of Bo and all of the clothes we had bought him, lying across the bed and, of course, posed next to me, our mother and son portrait.
Emmett got that hat, his signature hat. That was a gift from his mom.
During the summer of 1955, Moses Wright came to Chicago.
Moses Wright, my grandfather, he's Emmett Till's great uncle.
During the course of that visit, Emmett learned that his best friend, his cousin, Wheeler Parker, was going to go back to Mississippi with Moses Wright, and he had to go with him.
And he was very aggressive about trying to go, I understand.
So Mamie Till Mobley had the talk with Emmett. When a white person speaks to you, you then speak to them with respect. Get off the side of the road, no sudden movements, no sassing. Fall on your knees, bow down, scrape, apologize, beg for forgiveness should anything like that occur. Mamie had to try to warn Emmett against that, but at the same time, but have fun, baby. It's a tough, tough assignment.
That was the dilemma, and continued to be the dilemma of the Black mother, of the Black family, of just trying to find a place where your kids can grow up safe and healthy and whole. That is a struggle, a conversation that every mother has. But the realness of it was understood, because those were the conversations we'd have to have in our household as a Black person out there when you step outside of your community, that you may not be safe. And that was the truth for so many people. I remember conversations my mother would have with my brother as he was getting older and starting to drive and venture out. That was the air we breathed.
We met up and he got on the train and we traveled together to Mississippi.
1955, Emmett Till is heading in August to Money, Mississippi. 1955, what happened? 1954, Brown versus Board of Education. My God, the Supreme Court decision.
Brown versus Board of Education was the court case that led to schools being desegregated, which means that the Black kids and the white kids could go to school together.
White politicians are looking for votes of fearful white people.
Yeah, because the underlying fear was not just, oh, we don't want our kids going to school with Black kids. It was, what's gonna happen once our kids do go to school with the Black kids? Are our daughters gonna date the Black boys? Are they gonna bring home the little brown babies?
A couple weeks before Emmett Till arrives in Mississippi, an activist, Lamar Smith, is shot in broad daylight, 10 a.m. in the morning, because he's trying to register Black people to vote. This is the Mississippi into which Emmett Till came in 1955 in that summer.
There's already tension, there's already fear. There's fear of someone like him before he ever steps foot in this state, before he ever steps off that train.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.